What is the world coming to where I am agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Let's get into it. So I don't know if the world is upside down, but when Marjorie Taylor Greene is making sense, we have to make sure that the earth is still round. We have to make sure that gravity is a thing. I don't know. But Marjorie Taylor Greene was on The View and was just actually reasonable. Let's get into some of the clips from this interview.
You've been outspoken about releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files to the public, including the names of individuals involved in his sex trafficking network. Now, Democrats have been calling for that too, along with some of the other Republicans, but most of your party is pushing back and stalling. Why do you think that is? Because if President Trump is not implicated in there, what is exactly being protected here?
I have no idea, but it seems like very rich and powerful men are being protected. And I will sign anybody's resolution, and I'll get on board with anyone's push to release those files, because this is about women, especially when they were teenagers, were victims of rape and sexual abuse by Jeffrey Epstein. And according to the victims, there's a list of men that they haven't released yet. They are afraid of lawsuits. They're afraid of it. And I said I would read the list for them on the House floor because I have speech and debate protection there.
Marjorie Taylor Greene has come out. I will say this. She has been extremely consistent when it comes to the Epstein files. She doesn't care who is putting forth the bill. She even just said here that she would go on the floor and read the list of names. I have to give it to her. I'm here for it. Let's continue.
However, I also think that this is about all victims of human trafficking, children that are being molested or raped, any men and women that are held in some sort of sexual abuse situation. What does our government say to them?
Right now, we're seeing these strikes on Venezuelan vessels in the Pacific, in the Caribbean, without congressional authorization. I think we both care about stopping the flow of illicit drugs. But do you think this is something the president can do unilaterally, or Congress needs to weigh in on?
Well, I just have to say, I have full faith and confidence in our great men and women in our military. And I believe that they have intel that we don't have, and they know what they're doing. However, I don't believe in regime change. I don't believe that we should be engaging in war, period. I'm totally against wars. I believe in fully protecting our borders and our people, but I don't think that we need to go out and attack other countries.
Where has this woman been for the last, 5 years that she's been in office? Maybe longer. She's coming off as a person that makes sense, which is extremely shocking to me. Now, I do believe, and AOC has come out and said that obviously what Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing by actually having these stances when it comes to healthcare and things like that, she sees the forest before the trees, essentially, that Trump is not always going to be the head of the Republican Party. And she is basically angling her way to being the head of the party. As we just saw with these elections, when Trump is not on the ballot, Republicans do not do well. And so the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene is continuously speaking about being America first and not putting us in forever wars, if you pay attention to it, she critiques everyone else of the Republican Party except for Donald Trump. She's not crazy.
I will say, though, fentanyl deaths increased in the past 5 years by 250% in my district alone. And drug overdose is devastating in a lot of, rural small towns that have lost a lot of economic opportunities. And so I am all for our Border Patrol and our military protecting our country and our people from drugs being smuggled into the country.
Now, Congressman, as we speak, there seems to be a significant divide on the right over whether to give a platform to noted white supremacist Nick Fuentes. Many prominent conservatives like Ben Shapiro, Senator Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, they've spoken out against amplifying him. You two have had a complicated relationship over the years, but at a moment when anti-Semitism is on the rise, where do you stand on this?
Well, first, I'm not anti-Semitic, but I am critical of the Israeli government.
Well, I just mean domestically speaking, because a lot of Nick Fuentes' words are, he hits every group, but very much just Jewish people in general, not Israel, Jewish people.
Well, number one.
Well, I don't know if you guys watch The View that often, but this is the first time Sarah has really highlighted that there is a difference between criticizing Israel and criticizing Jewish people. When you criticize Israel, you are not criticizing Jewish people. You're criticizing a foreign state. And I love that Marjorie Taylor made the point to make that distinction. Now, there is something really interesting that is about to happen, because there's a reason that Sarah made it a point to cut her off, and watch what Sonny does after Marjorie answers.
One, I don't have to agree with his words on attacking people like that. However, as a lawmaker, I think it's incredibly important that I defend our First Amendment for every single American. Of course, that does not apply to death threats or anything like that. However, I think the most important thing we can have as Americans is our free speech, and it can be speech that I either agree with or completely disagree with.
But it's something interesting you said. You said you're critical of the Israeli government, but you are not anti-Semitic. Most people now believe that if you criticize the Israeli government, you are anti-Semitic. Do you disagree with that?
Actually, I disagree with
Or I should say many people.
I would say that tide has completely changed. I think many Americans today see the difference is you can love Jewish Americans and you can love Jewish people and not be critical of people at all. And you can, I have the right to criticize a foreign government. And I can criticize as many of them as I want. And I can say October 7th was the worst thing and horrific, but I can equally say starving children and killing innocent people and children in Gaza is also horrible. And that's my opinion.
Guys, yes, again, that is Marjorie Taylor Greene making more sense than some of our Zionist Democrats. It's almost as if those two thoughts can't be held in the same. October 7th is horrible, but that doesn't mean that we have to deal with the brutal killing of innocent Palestinians. First of all, I was shocked that she was there being on The View, and then I'm shocked that she is making so much sense. So this is the last clip where she actually starts to talk about the shutdown. And again, it is going to shock you what she says.
What are you hearing from your constituents on this issue, and how do you see this shutdown ending?
My phone in my office, my district office in Washington, is ringing off the hook every single day. People are beyond outraged and they're terrified, but this has been going on for a long time. Democrats voted for the ACA in 2010. It went into effect in 2014. That was the year that we saw our health insurance policy for a family of 5 go from $800 a month to $2,400 a month. And I'll say this, we also watch health insurance companies drop out of the market, and healthcare costs have risen and risen and risen and risen. But I'm going to pick on Republicans. Republicans never fixed it. And then the ACA tax credits were passed in 2021, and there was a sunset date of the end of this year. And Republicans never made a plan for that. And I have been I yelled at Mike Johnson last week on our GOP conference call. By the way, I'm missing the call today. It's going on right now. And I hope that Mike Johnson is finally giving a single health care policy because the country deserves it, and it shouldn't be a secret. And I shouldn't have to go into a skiff to go find our Republican health insurance plan.
Maybe
Honestly,
there is no plan.
You know what? You want to know something? That, I believe, is the truth. There's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of bills, but there's no consensus. And I think that's a failure. I do.
Now, I know there are plenty of people that are probably going to be in the comments and say, Aaron, don't get your hopes up. Don't forget about Jewish space lasers. Don't forget about how she literally harassed Parkland school victims, saying that it was a false flag operation, how she shouted down Joe Biden at the joint sessions, or I forgot what they call it, the State of the Union, even though I don't really hear about Joe Biden. But listen, I think the proper way to win and have this country look and be the best it could be for everyone else, for the majority of people, is to never have any permanent enemies or permanent friends, but always have permanent interest. And so when I hear her speaking the way that she's speaking, it makes me think, okay, how can we utilize this aha moment that she's having right now to better the progressive agenda, or at least move her a little bit further to the left? All right, guys. So comment down below. What do you think about Marjorie Taylor Greene's new opinion or lease on life or view on politics, how she's holding Republicans accountable? Still not saying anything bad about Big Daddy Trump, but it's a start at least. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Peace.